In one of my recent trips to Micro Center where we were setting up stuff for the podcast, I decided to grab something while I was there that I'd never really dabbled in before. And to my surprise, that was actually one of the main comments on that video was you guys commenting on what I picked up, saying it was actually a pretty good purchase. That is the Keychron Q6 Max mechanical wireless RGB keyboard. It's a bit of a chonker. Today we're going to talk about it because I liked it so much I got a second one. iBuyPower PCs deliver top performance to anyone looking for an all-new system to enhance their gaming experience. All iBuyPower computers are built with quality components featuring the latest CPUs and GPUs from the top manufacturers in the market. Their PCs are also backed by an industry-leading warranty offering 3 years of labor and 2 years of parts for comprehensive post-purchase support, so you can rest assured that your iBuyPower system is always ready to game when you are. To see the latest deals to apply towards the purchase of your new system, visit the iBuyPower gaming deals at the link in the description below. Keychron.
Like the Bentley girl.
Anyway, this is the Keychron Q6 Max, as you can see right there. Full-size wireless mechanical keyboard. It has two versions. Like there's this full metal frame, which is what I got. If you're wondering what it weighs, first of all, I have to point out these are, the keycaps around here are double shot PBT keycaps. It's made from two different sets that I bought to make this colorway. They're not the keys that came with it. It probably would weigh more with the keys that came with it because these are ASA style tall keys. They're taller. I actually feel like a thicker plastic, even though it's also PBT. So it might actually weigh a few grams more with these keycaps. But anyway, it turned off. It's gonna take a minute to zero out. For the weight, sometimes I regret getting the full metal one, only because like I put it on my lap because it is a wireless keyboard. It's very heavy. Anyway, it weighs 2,082 grams. It's like as heavy as a 4090. It's really, really heavy. That's why you could literally beat someone to death with it if you wanted to.
It's the 4D cell Maglite of keyboards.
No, I'm serious. In a pinch, you could actually like weaponize this thing. Okay, so Keychron's been around for quite a while. The most common comment you guys said was the fact that it was a really good place to start with playing with better than average keyboards. So here's the thing, you can spend a lot of money on custom keyboards, and for the $250 price point that this is, yeah, right there, people are like, dang, 250 bucks, but let's not forget, I've been using at home and at work the Logitech G915 wireless gaming keyboard, which is a low profile mechanical clicky switch, like customizable, you couldn't change the keycaps or anything. That's just as much as this keyboard. So I was like, you know what? I know I've been paying attention to Nick doing his custom keyboard stuff, and you know, for me, like typing on keyboards hadn't been that big of a deal. I attribute experiencing a good keyboard for somebody that spends a lot of time on a computer as something you don't know you're missing out on until you experience it and then go back. It's kind of like when you have never experienced anything greater than 60 FPS on a monitor. You start getting 120 FPS, 60 feels a little gross after that. So it's kind of the same thing. So the switches that are in here, first of all, let's talk about what comes with it. So obviously you get the frame that's fully assembled and such. It is hot swappable. You can get this as a kit too, by the way. Actually, I tried to find the kit, couldn't find the kit, just ended up buying the fully assembled one at Micro Center. As I already mentioned, the keycaps, so this is the colorway that they come with. They come with this like sort of a charcoaly color. They say it's blue. I can't see the blue because I'm blue colorblind. My wife says it's blue. To me, it looks like charcoal gray. But anyway, and then you get the white keys, and then the like F-row and some of the other keys are this navy blue apparently. So it comes with that. Everything is stabilized, which is nice. So if you look at like the space bar, you can see it's got the, obviously for the center switch, as well as the stabilizers on the side, which track the space bar to keep it nice and level. So a lot of keyboards you'll click and it sounds good, but then the space bar will have like a springy like rod that goes up and down with it. That'll sound gross, but because this is actual switch, the space bar is just as creamy. Is that the right term? It's creamy. Creamy shit!
What the hell? Creamy shit!
So creamy is what I guess these switches have been basically, what the keycaps have been described as. So the key switches in this is what they call their Jupiter Brown. That's a Keychron switch. Let's face it, everyone's kind of come up with cherry alternative names and such, even though they literally are like cherry everything else. You just can't call them Cherry because that's a brand, that's a name, that's trademarked and whatnot. So everyone has kind of come up with their own name for their own switches, and they've got their own weights and their own actuations and such. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the actuation weight is on this. I can tell you they're linear. Actually, no, I take that back. Tactile hump. Yeah, so I don't have the equipment to even measure where that hump is. Like, that's a little robot that's like, and does all that for you. I'm using the J meter of about halfway. Probably not very accurate, but whatever. So, well, that's a good time to show you that it's hot swappable, because my finger got stuck on the escape key and popped it right out there, don't you know? So as you can see, they are hot swappable. I don't think I bent them. Nope, they're pretty straight. So you could literally swap out the switches for any other switch type that you want. So let's say you decide, oh, I don't want the Jupiter Browns. I want something that has like a, we'll talk about that flex in a minute, because this is some of the negatives about this keyboard I want to talk about. But let's say you want to switch these out with like, oh, I don't know, I want Jupiter Blues. I'm just assuming they have a blue or whatever. I think the colors probably are very much linear with like what Cherry Browns would be, or Jupiter Reds, or Jupiter Blues, or Jupiter Clears, or Jupiter Greens, right? There's a million colors that represent actuation weight, and then the actual switch type, whether it's gonna be linear, which means there's no bump, it's just presses and it's the same all the way down. There's tactile bump, where it has like the physical, you can feel the switch activate, and then there's one that has a click with that, so called clicky. This is clearly not clicky. So, it's a full-size keyboard. You can get this one in different sizes. I obviously went with 100%. I use a 10 key all the time, so I wanted the full-size 10 key. We have 4 additional programmable macro buttons above the 10 key. I just basically remapped these to some volume controls, even though the default does have F-row volume control. So I don't like the position of the knob though. I kind of wish it was over here in the corner. It's not so bad now that I put shorter keycaps on here that are more standard, because now I can literally reach the top of the knob. But with the taller ASA style keycaps next to it, like your fingers would hit the cap trying to turn the knob. So that bothered me. Now the knob can be mapped. By default, it's obviously volume, and then pushing it down is either mute, unmute. Pretty standard keyboard. It does come set up though out of the box. I don't know where the switches, the buttons are. Anyway, there's the Windows key. It comes set up for Mac out of the box, which is I think kind of ironic. So it'll have a function key and control, and then it'll have the Mac buttons on here. Also on the back of the keyboard, if you look, we have USB-C, because I use it wired. Actually, I have not used the wireless aspect in either of these keyboards yet, because I use the coiled keyboard cable, which matches the color blue that I have on here, so it's really nice. But you have a toggle switch on here to switch between Windows or Mac, so I have it set to Windows, obviously. And then that's just the wireless or wired toggle button right there. So I just leave it wired at all times. I haven't tried using it wireless yet, to be honest. That wasn't the make or break for me. I wanted a good quality keyboard that is comfortable to type on. Let's go ahead and move on to things that are included. So this is obviously the switch removal / keycap removal tool. So you've got what looks like a whisk on one side that you can use to take the keycaps off. These keycaps tend to fit a little tighter than the stock ones, so it might actually take the whole switch out right now if I take this off. Nope, it didn't. So if you get a little wiggle back and forth, you can tend to get it off. If you just pull straight up, you can take the switch right out with it. But there you go, you can see the Jupiter Browns now. It's a Cherry stem. I guess I just call it a positive stem because it just looks like a plus sign. But let's just face it, we all know what that is. That's Cherry MX style. So any Cherry MX keys will pretty much work on here, no problem. They are, I shouldn't have put that back on. They are backlit. So at the bottom of the switch, down on the bottom part of the clear is where the LED is. So all of these are lit from the bottom of the key switch. Now before I put these keycaps on, I did actually have a different kind of keycap that I just ended up not liking, mostly because the LEDs on here are not that bright. They were basically pudding style. So what that means is the perimeter of the keycap was a translucent clear, so like frosted. Then the top was black with printed letters. What was most disappointing for me was the fact that the letters didn't illuminate, just the side of the keycap did. So I kind of lost interest in that one real quick, and then ended up getting these keycap sets from Amazon, and I've been pretty happy with these, to be honest. So the RGB is not something that I also am all that interested in on this keyboard. It's just really the typing experience that I wanted on this, because I was writing a lot more emails and stuff these days, so I started caring, and so I wanted to try it out. So as I said, you get the switch puller as well as the keycap puller. It comes in this anti-static-ish bag. You get a coil, not a coil, but a sleeved USB-C to USB-C with a USB-A adapter so that you can use it with any device that doesn't have USB-C. So there it is right there. That's just an adapter to USB-A. You also get a set of tools. You also get some of the secondary keycaps. So these are like the Mac keys that I took off. So you have the option key, and there's obviously the, what's that called? Command. Yeah, that button. The ittiest bittiest little Phillips ever. And then you have an Allen key. We also have right here another adapter. So we do get some extra screws. We get some double-sided tape and some foam. So the reason why I'm making this video today is not to just sort of give you, after several weeks of feedback of what it's like for somebody to go with this keyboard that is not a keyboard snob, but would like something better than what you get from, say, Razer or Corsair or any of that, because this is, in my opinion, in terms of typing experience, smoothness, feel, consistency across the keyboard, superior to any PC component brand that also makes keyboards, is I have some things I want to address on here. As you saw with the escape key, when I push down, you can see how much flex there is in the entire row of keys up here. Like the whole corner is dipping. So I want to see if I can throw some foam in there to stiffen that up. I haven't noticed it. Like, here's the thing. This would be like normal typing pressure, although I don't type like this upside down on the F row. You really have to push to make it noticeable. But typing wise, you can see nothing's changing. The other issue was over here, again, basically in the corners. The center, not really a problem. Down here in the corner, so you can see it's really the corners. So I want to see if there's something I can do to firm that up, see if the extra stuff they gave me is actually useful. And to be honest, I kind of just want to see what the inside looks like. So this was covered in fingerprints, but it really cleans up nice. Again, anodized metal. So plastic, obviously the results may vary, but I went with the metal one because I just wanted to see how well I would like that. And I bought a second one, so now I'm like $500 into Keychron. So as you can see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 rubber feet. They are very grippy. In fact, it's even gone from shiny around the edges where it doesn't make contact with the table to that. And that's the funny thing is, like, it gives a crazy amount of grip even on our gaming mat, which, by the way, JayzTwoCents.com, we have a whole bunch of different gaming mat designs now. You guys can go and check them out today. So it's almost like they've worn in and gotten even tackier. It does come with this Allen key that you would use to take off these brass screws. They look brass anyway, but I'm gonna use my I fixed it! All right, so there's the foam. Oh, there is a cable right there. Okay, just this plate on the bottom now, I need to know. 1,170 grams. It's just the back plate. So here's the foam backer. This is all for noise isolation, really. This foam is about keeping it from resonating through the entire frame. Now that we have a metal frame, sound can travel through it easier that way. I almost asked, why is there a battery in this? They could have made that a lot bigger, but again, I don't use the wireless aspect of it. So I guess I could remove this entirely if I wanted to save some weight. So I'm gonna put this back on. I'm wondering if this is like where I'm gonna have to add the foam, is like in the corners here, because I need to be careful now. We have this little cable, which is connected to the USB. Oh yeah, this is connected to the sliders, right? Oop. Okay. I really don't want to have to buy another one. Mostly because I don't want to have to switch out the frickin' keys again. Look at that. I think it's important to take photos of things as you take things apart, so you can remember the orientation of them. I don't think I need to take this apart any farther than this to get what I need, because I'm pretty sure I know now where I need to add the foam in the corners to make this a little better. But look at the design of this. This is freaking cool, man. It's literally a little wireless like you would find in a freaking laptop or something. That's so cool. So 2 extra feet. You see how they're shiny all the way around? So now that mine have worn in, you can see they look a little dull. Like, that means I have even better grip. And then I don't want the screws to fall out. We have a few perimeter screws. Looks like we have 2 extra perimeter screws and 4 internal screws. So that's nice to see. I really don't know if this is gonna work. Like, I feel like there's other methods I could use for this. I know this is not what these are for. These are intended to replace these. I could find, like, I could buy from Amazon like round foam discs, which would be better for this, I think. But this is what I've got here right now. I feel it like crunching, not like a bad crunch, but like I can feel the foam going as I tighten it down. So It still has some flex. I mean, there's always gonna be some, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem like it's as bad. Wherever you push it, there's always some flex, right? But it seems like it's in line with everything else now. Let's see. It's like that's a prerequisite. You have to do that. So this is the sound. When someone does that face, don't you want to punch them? Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the software real quick. It's all web-based software. Oh, I just knocked that key crooked. Oh, you know why? I put it on upside down. I just realized I put this key on upside down. Don't do her, I'm a bracket key. So regarding the customization of the keyboard for the lighting and the macros and all that stuff, it uses QMK and VIA. Keychron also has their own web-based one. I'll be honest, I could not get VIA to sync with my keyboard at home. I have not tried here at work. I've not changed the RGB. It's still RGB puking and I want to change that. But VIA is one that almost everyone that's like heavily into keyboard modifying and building custom keyboards, they like VIA. But it would see the keyboard, right? If I would say scan, it would see the keyboard and I would tell it, hey, connect. And then that's it. The box would go away and nothing would happen. It would not load the keyboard on the web interface. So no matter what, and that was wired, so it's not like wireless was an issue. I could not get it to work. So let's get this on the computer so you can see how that interface works. And I guess we'll give some final thoughts because, well, obviously I liked them because I bought another one. I'm an idiot. I forgot I did actually connect it and make it white because I got tired of it RGBing. So I'll just take off like the arrow key here to show you what I mean about the fact that it's just bottom illuminated. There we go. So you can see how only the bottom of the key is illuminating light. So I feel like personally, if it had perimeter lighting around the entire switch, I probably would have left something on that's translucent that lets the light through. But it being uneven on the bottom of the pudding keys, the pudding caps, I didn't like it. It was uneven, ununiform. So anyway, there's that. So one thing I want to point out with this colorway with the, is that gray? Gray or blue, black and red, whatever. That's actually the colorway you get with the plastic keyboard. So I want to point that out. The fact that I got like the mint and the blue/charcoal and the white was with the full metal keyboard. They advertise south-facing RGB as being a good thing because a lot of people like to use keycaps that have the edge print that can also let light through to light up the key. South would be perfect for that. So Nick actually uses a keyboard that they're all side lit like that or side printed. I don't personally care for that. So that doesn't matter to me. Anyway, so the software, so if we click connect, there's our keyboard. And this is what was happening with VIA as well. But once I would hit connect, nothing would happen. Like this would all just stay blank. As soon as I hit connect, connecting, there's our keyboard. So this is where you could do any of your remapping of keys, or you could change, because I don't have an F13 through 16 row, like I just put those custom caps on there, so you could reprogram that to whatever you want. Backlighting is very simple. Right now it says it's set to red. That's not right. So this is where you can set up the macro keys. You can map them out, so you can make it have a key sequence, whatever you want to do with the macro. I think you guys have worked macros by now. Firmware update. I don't know if this one needs one or not. And then there's wireless firmware. Oh, and then key test is kind of neat. So you push a key, oh. Apparently I can't keep up with the typing rate at which I was typing. But if you built your keyboard, you want to make sure everything's working, you can do a key test or a key switch test to make sure they're all showing up. Yeah, not a whole lot to really talk about here. I mean, honestly, it updates very quickly though. Like as soon as you click something, it does it. Boom. Like it's very fast. So I think y'all know how RGB works by now. This is just the stuff they have set up. I'm an old man, so I'm just set to solid white. I feel like for 250 bucks, I have no regrets at all. I've spent that much on the G915, as I said. And I think I got just as many, that keyboard is absolute hot garbage about the G915 as I've gotten, that Keychron Q6 is a pretty damn good keyboard for the price. So that tells me I'm on the right track if I'm trying to fit in with all the cool kids. But I'll be honest, I would personally like to see a wired only version and maybe a non-backlight version if it helps with the cost in any way. I don't know how much that costs now to integrate. Like I would assume wireless is not that expensive these days. I have no idea what the battery life is like. You saw it's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. I use it wired only, including at home. So not a selling point for me. It just was a nice to have. I have put approximately $30, well, I guess it would be approximately $70 if we include the cost of the pudding keys. The pudding keys were $39.99 at Micro Center. I put them on and took them off within a day. And then I spent $15 twice on Amazon. And I'm happier with the $15 keycaps from Amazon. They're PBT or double shot PBT. So I'm happy with that because I now have enough to do a whole nother keyboard if I want it in the reverse colorway of what I just created here. So that's the nice thing about mixing and matching those. And yeah, I guess the fact that it works with both Mac and Windows is a plus, I guess. But I think it's weird that they came out of the box preset for Mac, because I think more people on PC are probably buying them. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, they do come in a silver, they call it white, but really it's silver anodized, which also had a reverse of the key colorway of what came on this. That's what I wanted. I wanted that one because I figured silver wouldn't show fingerprints or like the oils nearly as much, because I've been handling it since I put it back together. You can see the oils and stuff do, and I have pretty dry skin. So the fact that they're showing up my skin oils means that it's definitely a magnet. It wipes clean pretty easy because it's metal. And because it's metal, I don't have to worry about really plastic scratching or polishing or anything like that. It's anodized. You'd have to really rub the snot out of it to get it to start polishing up, because you'd have to be literally rubbing smooth the bead blasted metal that's here. So that's why I went with the metal. Plus I just like the beefiness of it. There you go, sound off down below. If I wanted to upgrade this, for those of you that are affluent in keyboard, if I wanted to, okay, the Keychron Q6 was a good place to start. If I wanted to upgrade this, let's say stick with this shell, this chassis, what would I do? Switch type is just a preference. I'm wondering if there's anything I could do to make the corners not bend down, although it's a lot better now than it was, to be honest. It is a heck of a lot better. To me, this feels like, this is like high end, bro. There's nothing above this, but I know that's not true. So I'm just curious, where do we go from here? What does the next price point look like? Is it exponentially more expensive, or now you're looking at $400 or $500? Or are there other options that you guys feel would have been better for $250? Comment down below. I don't know if I'll ever do another keyboard video. I just felt inclined because of the amount of people that commented on the fact that I got this keyboard, and they wanted my honest opinion on it. A lot of people were like, Jay, tell us how you feel about the Keychron. I just did.